He should have said no. Any sane man would have. Instead, I had my hands locked on the steering wheel while a woman in a wedding dress stared at me like I was the last door left on earth. "If you turn this car around," she said, her voice shaking but sharp, "I will marry a man I don't love in 15 minutes. I glanced at her. The silk gown was crumpled across the passenger seat. Snowflakes melted in her auburn hair. Her mascara had run so badly it looked like war paint. Behind us, a man burst out of the hotel doors, running, shouting her name. "Please," she whispered, "drive." I had never seen someone look that desperate, and the worst part was I believed her. "My name is Daniel Frost. I'm 38 years old, widowed 3 years, contract driver. Father to a 7-year-old girl who depends on me for everything." I was supposed to pick up a fare and go home. Instead, I was sitting in a parking lot with a runaway bride begging me to destroy her wedding. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. If I drove away, her entire life would change, and so would mine. The man outside slipped on the snow and caught himself on a car hood. "Elena," he shouted. Her whole body flinched. That reaction told me everything. Not anger, not embarrassment, fear, real fear. "Drive," she said again. I hesitated for one more second, just long enough to understand the weight of the decision. Then I pressed the gas. The tires spun against the snow before finally gripping the pavement. My old sedan lurched forward and shot toward the exit of the Grand Harbor Hotel parking lot. In the side mirror, I saw the man running after us. Then he disappeared in the white blur of falling snow. For a while, neither of us spoke. The heater in my car barely worked. Cold air seeped through the cracked door seals. Snow hammered the windshield. Beside me, the bride was breathing like she had just escaped a burning building, which I guessed she kind of had. "Are we being followed?" she asked. I checked the mirror again. No. Her shoulders collapsed with relief. For a moment, she just sat there staring out the window like she was watching a world she had just abandoned. Then she started laughing. Not happy laughter. The kind that comes out when your nerves finally snap. "Oh my God," she said between breaths. "I actually did it." "You ran away from your wedding," I said. "Yes." That's not something people usually do halfway through the ceremony schedule. Her laugh faded. "I wasn't halfway through," she said quietly. "I was 15 minutes from saying vows to a man who sees me like a contract." That sentence hung in the car. Contracts, not love, not marriage, contracts. "What's his name?" I asked. "Victor." She said it like the word tasted bitter. I kept my eyes on the road. "Did he hurt you?" "No." "Threaten you?" "No." "So why run?" She turned to look at me, and the sadness in her green eyes caught me off guard. "Because no one ever asked me if I wanted this." That answer hit harder than I expected. As I understood that feeling. After my wife Leela died 3 years ago, life became a long series of things I had to do. Work, bills, medicine, survive. No one asks widowers what they want either. We drove in silence for a few minutes. Snow swallowed the city streets. Traffic lights blinked through the storm like distant signals. Then my phone rang. Mrs. Chen, my stomach tight. She never called this early unless something was wrong. "I have to take this," I said. The bride nodded. I answered. "Hello." "Daniel." Mrs. Chen sounded panicked. "Mia is having trouble breathing." Everything inside me froze. "What do you mean trouble breathing?" I gave her the inhaler, but she is wheezing very badly. Her lips are turning blue. My heart slammed against my ribs. Asthma. Severe asthma. My daughter had been fighting it all winter. "I'm coming right now," I said. I ended the call and immediately made a sharp turn toward home. "What happened?" the bride asked. "My daughter." The words barely came out. "She can't breathe." The woman beside me straightened instantly. "How old?" 7. "How far away?" 20 minutes. "Drive faster." I pressed harder on the gas. Snow sprayed behind us. My hands trembled on the wheel. Beside me, the bride grabbed her phone. Her entire posture changed. The panic vanished. Her voice turned calm, focused, professional. "Yes," she said into the phone. I need an ambulance dispatched immediately." She glanced at me. "Address?" I told her, 7-year-old female, severe asthma attack, oxygen deprivation risk. What? She listened for a moment. "Yes, send advanced respiratory support." She ended the call. "They're on their way," she said. I stared at her. "How did you?" Later. We pulled into my apartment parking lot 12 minutes later. I didn't even shut the car door before running inside. Mrs. Chen had the door open. Mia sat on the couch. Her tiny chest was heaving, her face pale. Her breathing sounded like air being dragged through a straw. "Daddy," she wheezed. I dropped to my knees. "I'm here, baby." Behind me, the bride entered the apartment, still in her wedding dress. Snow melting in her hair, but she didn't hesitate. She knelt beside Mia. "Hi, sweetheart," she said gently. "I'm Alina." Mia tried to smile but couldn't. Alina adjusted Mia's posture. "Sit upright, good girl." What? She guided my hand. "Rub her back slowly." Her voice stayed steady, calm, the way someone talks when they know panic will only make things worse. "Ambulance is 2 minutes away," she told me. "How do you know what to do?" I asked. "My brother had asthma." Sirens cut through the snow outside. 2 paramedics rushed in seconds later. Within moments they had Mia on oxygen. One of them looked at me. "You're riding with us." I climbed into the ambulance holding Mia's small hand. As the doors closed, I looked back toward my apartment. The bride stood in the doorway, wedding dress covered in snow, watching us leave. Then she called out one sentence, "I'm coming with you." And in that moment, I realized something strange. The runaway bride I had picked up in a parking lot was no longer just my passenger. She was suddenly part of the worst day of my life, but I still didn't know the truth. I didn't know her real name. I didn't know who was searching for her. And I definitely didn't know that the woman sitting beside me in that ambulance was one of the richest people in the country, or that helping her escape that morning had just tied my life to hers in a way neither of us could undo. But there was one question burning in my mind. Why would a woman with a wedding worth millions choose to run away